Hello, Bournemouth fans. Welcome to Cherries Red Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk, and this is our latest match review. Huddersfield 1, AFC Bournemouth 2, and we'll get into the game like we normally do. Dan, how you doing? You're with me with Lineups Live. The whistle's just gone. Phew.
Yeah, the anxiety is. It got way too stressful than it should have. I think we took the foot off the gas towards the end, and it was a horrible last 15. But yeah, got the result, and at the end of the day, result is the most important thing. Every result is not going to be pretty, and it's not always going to be our best performance, but 3 points is all that matters, and into 5th position. So brilliant.
And as we do, we're going to break this 90 minutes down as best as we can. And we appreciate you viewers checking out this video. Please give this video a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. Help us get to 350. So as we did on Lineups Live then, Dan, at 4:45, an earlier slot time, different to normal. But we got through to the lineups. And what was your thoughts? It was one change. Ben Pearson came in for Jack Wilshere.
Yeah, I thought it was. It's what I expected, really. It's been like that for a while now. Woodgate seems to be going with a similar lineup. Everyone seems to be understanding their role now. Same formation, similar players. And I think that's a big reason why we're doing so well at the moment, going sort of back to the basics. And I don't think anyone deserved to be dropped, to be honest. I think everyone's been really solid over this 5-game winning streak. I would argue that's probably our strongest lineup. It's difficult between Pearson and Wilshere. I think it depends. It's sort of have to go on a game-by-game basis. And obviously injuries. But I think that's probably one of our strongest lineup. Obviously, Cook maybe would be wanting learn more of Pearson's place or Wilshere. But yeah, a really, really strong lineup. And it's good to have minimal injuries and we can go into each game with the best possible chance.
And briefly on Huddersfield, an unrecognisable team from what we've seen in the Premier League before. And the person we were going to look out for potentially that could hurt us was Fraser Campbell with 7 goals this season, but hasn't scored since the start of February.
Yeah, we looked at it, and 7 goals he's got this season, and for a top goal scorer, you'd probably expect a bit more. It shows just generally how much Huddersfield have been struggling, and the league position really shows it. And yeah, we went into this game. I think if you were honest, you'd expect us to get the win. I think I said it in the lineup preview that I was confident. I couldn't see anything else other than a Bournemouth win. I know I could have jinxed it, but luckily it didn't. And yeah, we got the result. But I was confident going into it. We have a lot better quality than them, so I think we'd have to play really poorly. I think to not get a result from that game.
Okay, so the referee blew the whistle first minute, and to be honest with you, Dan, I was disappointed. It took us 45 seconds to get our first shot from Lloyd Kelly. I mean, we normally only take 23.
Yeah, it's remarkable. We said it. It reminded me. I've been crying out for this for so long for this season, and we finally seem to sort of solve, because in the Premier League we used to always hit teams. We used to go at teams straight from the first whistle, even if it was like the Man City's and United's. We'd go for it straight from the first whistle, and then obviously towards the end of the game we start to get more tired. But yeah, it's great that we're having quick starts and almost catching teams off guard. It could have been another early goal, but I was really impressed with the start. I think we started really positively, lots of good chances, lots of good movement. I think Huddersfield were really poor, lots of poor mistakes. They're just basically giving us the ball consistently. They had a couple of, I think they had a good chance quite early on. I can't remember his name. Their left winger. Yeah, I think he had 2 good chances, didn't he?
That's right, and we'll come to them in just a moment, Dan. But before we touch on them, in the first 10 minutes, there was an incident with Steve Cook when he went down with an injury. Now, it reminded me of the Forest game when he went off quite early. And I think if we're going to get into the playoffs and we're going to keep this continuity in this squad and that partnership between him and Carter Vickers, he needs to stay fit. And that worried me, but it seemed to be just maybe a bit of a blow to the stomach, and he was fine. And also Ben Pearson picked up an early yellow. I mean, just briefly, your thoughts on those 2 incidents really early in the game?
So yeah, I mean, as soon as Cook went down, there's a few players, and that obviously you don't want anyone to get injured ideally, but there's a few key players. You're like, when Dan Juron went down in the other game, I was like, oh God. When Cook goes down in this game, you're thinking, oh, I hope it's not anything serious, because he's been so important. Him and whoever he's playing with, he's been he's a leader. He's a proper leader, and he's a proper captain. He's so crucial, I think, to controlling the back line. And yeah, Pearson picking up an early yellow card. In fairness, you take one for the team, but I was worried. He loves the yellow cards, but I think like Lerma, he's smart enough not to get himself sent off. He knows he's not going to get another yellow. I was impressed with how he managed himself for the rest of the game, but it was always a worry, especially a holding midfielder. But yeah, I was glad that he was able to not get himself sent off, which is nice.
12th minute, then the opposition would have their first chance in the game, a chance you're talking about. And Adam Smith, who's been a change player recently and been playing very well and kept Stacey out of the team, but he would let Rowe cut inside him and he'd get a shot away and Begovic would save. But I think Smith could have done better there to try and stop him being able to cut in. Yeah,
I probably agree with that. I think that it's weird. I think Smith's had quite a few good games, but it's the case of we all remember when he had that really long run of games and he started to look really leggy towards the end of it. And I think, is that the case yet? I'm not sure. I think it was just a defensive mistake. But their left wing, was it Lowe? Would you say his name was?
Rowe.
Rowe, that's right. Yeah. Rowe, who's constantly causing mayhem against Adam Smith, and it was that little battle between them. But a great save from Begovic, and it is nice. I was saying this towards the end of the game. It is nice to not have to say that Begovic is a man of the match contender consistently anymore. Like, it's obviously great that he can make those saves. He's got the quality, but not having to almost rely on him as to save us in games anymore. Like, obviously you want him to be producing top saves, but it feels like no one else was performing, and he was the only player that was keeping us in the game, really. So good to see him make a couple good saves there.
15th minute, then Philip Billing would pick up the ball in the centre of the park and would spray it out to Dan Juron. And I always get off my seat and get excited when I see him square up 1-to-1 with space. And he would get a left foot shot away. The keeper would save it. And I never thought I'd say that a 6 foot or however feet he is would look so beautiful as he dives and scores a header. Philip Billing gives us the lead. I mean, you refer him to a Messi.
Yeah, it's slightly different, but it's amazing. I'm so happy that he's proved everyone wrong. There's nothing more I love than a player proving me wrong when he plays for Bournemouth, and he's been exceptional. He's improved so much, and as you mentioned there, I mean, they gave us the ball initially. They've done that a few times previously, just basically giving us the ball, and Billing does really well, drives with the ball, and as soon as you get Dan Juron cutting inside, he can go in and go out, and that is exactly where you want him with the pace. And it was really weird. A fair play. I think it was a really nice finish, actually, the way he was quick to react to it. But he never scores headers, Billing. So it's kind of weird. You'd think for someone that's 6'5", 6'6" or whatever, he would score more. But great finish in the end. I think he's got to have a lot of credit. It's not easy because that came at him pretty quickly, and to react like that and put it on target, even though it was an open goal. But been really impressive, Billing. And it's another goal. And what was it? The statistic he only ever won when he scored first. Am I correct in saying that?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah. So every time he scores, we win the football match, and that is 7 goals this season. I think that's the 5th time he scores the first goal in the game, which is amazing. And also, John Spark also highlighted that Dan Juron assisting Billing, or the other way round, is one of the lethal stats at the moment going around. So,
wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's good to see as well. So also just after that, Philip Billing had another chance just outside the box, turned on it and got a shot away, which is good to see. So he's playing with lots of confidence. Now, the 21st minute, we were 1-0 up. And again, Rowe picks up the ball on that left-hand side and he cuts inside on Smith again. And I'm like, he's just let him do it once. And he gets another shot away. They don't score, but I was like, at this point, this is where I get a bit frustrated with Adam Smith sometimes. But another good chance, similar to the first one.
Yeah, it's all good, well and good having it done once, but you'd think you'd learn from that and make sure it doesn't happen again. He's literally, it's basically I was watching the replay. I was like, was that the second chance or the first chance he did? It was basically identical what he did to him. Put it in exactly the same corner, did exactly the same movement into the box, cut inside, and you would think he would have learned from that. And unfortunately, I mean, again, Begovic makes a quality save, and it's so good to have a keeper that can do that consistently. But you've got to be asking questions there from Smith, and as I mentioned at the start, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's related to him playing a lot of games or that's just a defensive error. I'd argue that's just defensively being quite poor personally. But he was having a lot of problems there, Smith, today. But glad that we kept him out. Really, that he looked deadly every time he went forward. That their player.
So we're always trying to get on the attack and get more goals recently in this current form that we're in. And Solanke, a player we wanted to do really well, in the 28th minute, picks up the ball and tries to feed Smith. And actually Smith thinks the defender's going to intercept it and doesn't react until it's gone past him, but is able to square it. And a player that we think every time he gets into a position outside the 6-yard box, going to put it away. Dan Juron, but high and wide.
Yeah, it was. You'd almost put your money on him to score that, wouldn't you? In the form he's in, I think the defender just does enough to distract him there. Gets a foot there. I think he was almost surprised that he managed to get there, maybe slightly off balance there, running towards it. And when you're running at that speed and the ball's coming towards you, it's very difficult to keep that down. But yeah, that was again a good work from Smith there. I think both fullbacks today were pretty decent going forwards. I think Kelly was a bit better defensively than Smith today. But yeah, Smith was pretty good going forwards, and you'd expect Dan Juron to score that, which is crazy to say. You'd expect him to score basically all the chances he's having, the form he's in. He looks gutted when he came off. So yeah, he just wants to score goals, which is great to have that sort of luxury player, as you like to refer it to as.
43rd minute then, Dom Solanke would get himself behind the defence. Kelly would sort of hoof it up the pitch and he'd find himself through on goal to a point, but a bit wide. And Dom Solanke would drag that chance wide. And I thought, oh, was that his big chance for his big day? But 1 minute later, Huddersfield, like you referred to minutes ago, gave the ball away again. And Ben Pearson would pick up the ball, play it to Dom. And do you know what I love about this? I've said all season that he's not a natural finisher. He gets the ball out of his feet, laces it, almost top corner, and that stat has gone. Yes. Dom Solanke has scored for 2 consecutive games in a row, club games, since 2015.
The first thing I thought of when that was going in was like what we were talking about at the start of the game, and it actually happened. I was so happy. Much better than a penalty. Definitely. That was a lovely finish, and that's a finish of a player that's confident. And I think a lot of our players, we're playing with confidence now, which we've lacked previously. We're playing like we're enjoying playing our football. That's a great finish, though. I'm sorry, like Huddersfield first half really, really poor. Probably the worst. Their first half performance is probably the worst. One of the worst we faced whole season. It was weird. He was even a chance towards where they pinged out to their right winger, and he sort of seemed to let it go out. Or something like that. It was weird. And they just kept giving us the ball. And when you've got players with the quality of Dom Solanke, and that's just a great finish. That's got to be up there in some of his best goals, surely, especially for Bournemouth. Unbelievable finish. And I think Pearson does what he needs to do there. Intercepts the ball. He's always there. I'm not sure what the Huddersfield players were doing. It feels like someone thought another player was going to go. Nobody went in the end yet. But great finish. Really happy for Dom to finally break that or get those 2 goals in a row, which we've been crying out for.
14th goal of the season then for Dom Solanke, and AFC Bournemouth for going 2-0 at half-time. And at half-time, I thought, this is brilliant. This is what we've been asking for all season. Energy, overlapping fullbacks, progressive, forward-thinking passing. We were comfortable, and you always felt we could manage the game from here. But at half-time, before we get stuck into the second half, Dan, I mean, I was happy. Yeah,
really, really happy with the first half performance. I think that it maybe wasn't our best performance because I really think Huddersfield were poor. I think they made so many mistakes, but we capitalised on them, and that's what we need to do. We have the quality. I think we could have probably scored another one. But yeah, it was really happy with that performance. And we've been wanting like a 2-goal. I never feel comfortable with Bournemouth with 1 goal. And when you're on top, you've got to get that second goal. It's so important because we hadn't got that goal, it could quite easily been a draw. So yeah, I agree. Really, really happy going into the second half.
Went into the second half then, but Huddersfield would have the better chances early on, and O'Brien in the 48th minute would get himself free, and he would hit a nice shot, and it would come off the underside of the bar, and that was sort of a sign of we got to be careful here. Didn't go in, but yeah, Huddersfield maybe had a bit of threat.
Yeah, I think that we did take our like we said at the beginning of the show. I think we did take our foot off the pedal a little bit. I think, and Huddersfield, they're going to come in. The manager's going to be giving them a team talk. I'm not sure what he said, but he's not going to be happy what he's seen for sure. So they're going to go out, and I think they caught us a little bit off guard there. I think Begovic expected him to square it. Maybe he wasn't expecting the shot. I mean, even if he was expecting the shot, that was a great effort on goal. But yeah, it just goes to show this game isn't finished yet. we've still got a team that can score. They admittedly, as bad, as poor as they were defensively, I thought, and they were giving the ball away, they still were a threat on the attack. So I think we had to be wary of that. And I think that, yeah, it was they were still creating chances, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, they definitely had to be wary of that.
Interestingly, that when you're winning the game and Huddersfield make changes, and I think they made 2 or 3, but they brought off Fraser Campbell, their top goal scorer. I mean, for me, it was just going perfectly. 53 minutes, and they're making substitutions like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was brilliant. I think that it wasn't our best performance, but when I say it's not our best performance, not our worst performance, you'd say an average performance, but I think we were a little bit better than average, if I'm honest. I think we were really good when it's about getting that 2-goal lead for us. I think it's about trying to kill those games off. And yeah, it was weird that they were bringing him off. But it just goes to show that what they were doing clearly wasn't working. And when the team's not playing well against you and a team's, tactically, it's just not working. It's just brilliant. So yeah, that was encouraging signs for sure.
So we'll come up to between 60 to 70 or so minutes, and we were trying to control the game. We were trying to keep the ball. We had some half chances. Lerma would have a header. But if we're trying to see what type of Woodgate manager he might be, I think what's quite obvious, and I saw this from minute 1, is he likes to bring fullbacks on if he is winning the game or it is 1-0, 2-0, and he tries to double up fullbacks on either side, and Stacey would come on. We'll get into the Huddersfield goal in a minute, but yeah, you can see he was trying to tighten up, but it is a dangerous game because 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline.
That's what I mean. And what like 1 goal back and they're straight back in it kind of thing. And it's a weird one with Stacey because you'd think, oh yeah, defensively it'd be a lot better, but I don't know. It doesn't fill me with confidence when he's brought on in that position because I feel like it weakens our attack significantly. You don't feel confident when he's going through on goal and he has chances. He's not a natural finisher at all. As much as he can be deadly, overlapping, I just don't think he's great in that position necessarily. And I think that as much as, yes, he's a defensive player, he's playing in an attacking role still. So he's going to be positioned that way. And when he does get the chances to maybe finish off the game, obviously didn't happen in this game, but in previous games, he just doesn't. I don't know if it's exactly what I'd want, but I mean, we've won 5 games in a row, so can you complain? But yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know what you think about that, but let's
focus on Stacey, like you've just mentioned him, and let's go to the 75th minute. And Huddersfield would get themselves a corner, and the ball would come in, and a header from a tight angle from Jonathan Hogg wasn't the most powerful header, but the person marking him was Jack Stacey, and he struggled to keep up with him as he made that movement. Huddersfield would get back in the game at 2-1, but if we were going to concede a goal, we know it's going to come from crosses.
Yeah, we've said it for so long. It's the one thing that we've been so rubbish at this whole season is we cannot defend crosses and we can't defend corners. And it's weird. I feel more worried about a corner than I do like a free kick in a nice position. I really do. It's because I don't understand why we're so bad, though. We have players that should be good in the air. Cook's good in the air. We've got Kelly, who's pretty decent in the air. Vickers, who's pretty decent in the air. We've got Begovic. It doesn't really make sense. Like surely we've got to be working on it. I think we probably will be, but we just don't see the improvement. And I'm not sure particularly why, but I always worry, and it's something that we really do need to improve at, especially going to the playoffs, because against these, against the teams that we're going to be playing against, it's something really obvious that they can exploit. So yeah, definitely something we need to do better.
I know Woodgate's mentioned it as well, that it's definitely a weakness, and I think we said before that attack is probably our best force of defence. Yeah. It was going to be a nervy 15 minutes, and I don't know how we got ourselves into this position. And we talked about Dom Solanke scoring the second goal, and in the 82nd minute, Jack Stacey would get himself in a position to square the ball. Now, every minute I think that actually Dom's proved me wrong and he's a natural striker, he then unchanges that for, and he misses an absolute sitter in the 6-yard box. How he misses it, I don't know, at 2-1 in the 82nd minute.
Yeah. If you're going to give him a little bit of leeway, I guess you'd say it comes at him quite quickly. but if that's me defending him. But yeah, you've got to be finishing those. That's a golden opportunity. He gets his legs sort of tangled. I don't think he's expecting it as quickly as it comes across. But I think as a natural striker, as you say, you've got to be ready for that kind of chance. You've got to be expecting. You've got to be positioned like that's going to come in there. So yeah, it's frustrating because he's not the number 9 striker, the typical number 9 striker, but he does so well at other things. And it's so frustrating. If he could add that, that clinical instinct of a number 9 properly to his game, I think he'd be brilliant. Like I still think he's a really good player, but I think he'd be that next level striker. And yeah, I think that if we do go up, that could be something he could. Something that could be really good for us if he can add that to his game, because he's improving all the time. I think that even from the start of the season, he's improved massively, Dom, and he's got, and he shows from that first goal that he can strike a ball really well, and he's going to improve, and he is improving in comparison to the Dom Solanke we got in the Premier League, who at points it was a lost hope. I think many Cherries fans will agree. It was so frustrating because you could see he had talent as well, but getting his confidence back. But it is frustrating when you miss those chances that that maybe like a Pookie or a Tony would just put in the back of the net, for example.
Last few moments then, and Sam Surridge would come on, and within a minute of being on, Phil Billing would take the ball and he would drive down the wing and quickly put it in the box. And Sam Surridge would normally put these away. We can maybe say he's a bit rusty just coming off the bench, but another good chance to put this game to bed.
Yeah, it's Billing again. I think he was really, really good today, Billing, getting the goal. And it's weird. It's the way he's got such long legs. The way it doesn't look like he's trying still, but he's just pacing past these players. So, but yeah, he does really well. I thought he was going to play it early across actually, but he does really, really well. Puts a beautiful. He can't ask for a better ball than that, really, as a striker. And I think that might, to be honest, have been hitting the crossbar anyway. If the keeper hadn't have saved it, but yeah, you could say it comes in quickly. You could maybe say that he should not put that straight at the keeper, but I think he does as well as he can do. Really, he's just come on the pitch, so yeah, and it just continued the anxiety into the later stages of the game.
Board went up then for five extra minutes, and if we had any nails left, we'd be taking the ball in the corner, which would tell you how much the game changed in the second half. And then if we didn't need any more panic, Begovic would have a little bit of a spill in the final seconds. But we got over the line, Dan, 2-1, 5th consecutive victory in the league, and we'll look at the league table in a minute, but we got there, and the 3 points is the most important thing.
Exactly. 3 points, most important thing for sure. And yeah, it's like I said before, it's just about it doesn't matter how you play, really. Ultimately, at this stage in the season, we've just got to get over the line. We've got to get the 3 points. And yeah, it was so nerve-wracking towards the end, but it puts us in a really, really good position. And obviously, when the game's that big, it's that's how the game's going to go. Like, regardless, when we're in that position, we're gonna put it in the corner. But yeah, massive, and it's what five wins in a row since I don't know how long. It was 2018 since we had 4 games in a row, so it must be even longer since 5 games, kind of thing. So yeah, really, really good, and I think we picked up this form at exactly the right time. We've needed a run for the entire of this season at some point or another. We've been crying out, we need a run of games. And we hadn't had more than 3 the entire season. And now at exactly the right, I would argue that this is a better situation for the playoffs than if we drop down with a bit of poor form from like second or first position later on, like sort of a Brentford or a Swansea have done. So they've dropped off in form quite a bit. I think you'd argue we're in a better situation coming into the playoffs with form. And I think that's going to be crucial come the playoffs.
I think we're the most informed team now, and I think Chris Temple said that the last time we had a run like this was back in 2014, but may be corrected. Wow. But let's look at some of the stats. And again, we win a football match, and this stat's been appearing for quite a while now with less percentage, only just, but we had 49% of the ball. But on the right-hand side there in blue, Dan, is the shot attempts, and what we've been asking for in that bad spell that we had just after Christmas is to be more entertaining, more proactive, get more shots away. And there's 15 shots, 5 on target, 3 off target, but we are a lot better now than we were earlier on in this 2021.
Yeah, I think it's like I think a lot of fans felt a little bit hard done by at times. I think when and it was frustrating because it feels like balls were bouncing against us a lot of the time. We weren't getting those bounces, but I think part of it is like so often, especially under Tyndall, we would have 60-odd% possession. We'd have on the ball. We just wouldn't really create anything significant. It doesn't matter how much you have on the ball. It's what you do with the ball that's important. I'd rather see us be proactive and do something with the ball rather than just keeping it and not really doing anything. Woodgate were a little bit more direct, and something that I've been really, really happy to see is, a lot of the time when we get the ball in certain situations, like we've just made a tackle down the left wing or right wing, for example, let's say, and we go back into the corner and try and play it back, try pass back, we're just getting it away. We're just getting it away, getting it out of danger, resetting the defence. And I think that's been, a lot better. We're being a lot more direct in that sense, and it's led to less mistakes, which is something that's been so frustrating this season, especially with the talent in the squad. So I think that the basics, just being a little bit more direct with our players helped actually, especially in the Championship where teams are going to press us, teams are going to make it difficult for us to play attractive football playing out from the back. We're going to have to adapt to the situation. And I think Woodgate, in fairness to him, has done that pretty well.
And let's take a look who you voted for as man of the match. We put it out on the Twitter poll like we always do, and the contenders were Philip Billing, Asmir Begovic, Dominic Solanke and Ben Pearson. And the Cherries Red Army followers and AFC Bournemouth fans have voted 48.1% to the Dane, Philip Billing. Agree with that, Dan?
I do agree with that. I was thinking that would be my man of the match. I think that an honourable mention that wasn't in there, I thought Kelly had a really good game, as I mentioned previously. I thought he was really, really solid. I think he's cemented himself. There was always the debate about Kelly, Rico. I still think Rico's a good player, don't get me wrong. He's obviously got a lot of quality, but I think Kelly's just been really, really solid. And you haven't had that same anxiety when he's got the ball and he goes back, or even the amount of mistakes he was making before. Both him and Rico is so frustrating. But I think an honourable mention is definitely Kelly. I think he was really good today. But yeah, Billing, really, really impressed with him. He's in the form of his life at the moment, it feels like. And he's loving playing for Bournemouth. He's loving playing football. He's getting the goals. And, you can see even after he scores how happy he is. Like, obviously you're going to be, but you can see he's loving it. And it's mental to think that. The contrast from the start of the season where you're thinking, well, Billing wasn't even in the subs, was he, at one point? Like, he didn't play, and there was apparently like a bust up or something at the ground. He'd stormed out of training. Go from that to now, it's worlds apart. It's mental, but it's so good to see. And I feel like off the pitch, I think that there's clearly something that it's a lot more positive off the pitch. I think you could see that from the way the players, even from when the players celebrate, it feels a bit more together, a bit more togetherness, and together anything is possible. So that's the motto, and that's what I think we've been doing really well. So yeah, fingers crossed that we can continue this form into the playoffs. Is it completely in our hands? And it has been for a couple games now. It's in our hands to get into the playoffs, and then from then on, if we continue this form, there's no reason why we can't win it. Like, there's no reason at all. Over 2 legs, I feel confident we can beat any team from 3rd to 6th, and and it's just the last game. It's the last game. If we do get to the final, anything can happen. So but yeah, we've got to get to that point first. So let's just focus on the next game against Norwich, isn't it? Our next game, which is going to be really, really tough. It's going to be a tough game. But we beat them last time, and there's no reason. We've got the quality to beat them again, and there's no reason why we can't get a result there.
Let us know what you think about those 90 minutes then in the comments. Let us know what your favourite goal was, or your favourite moment, the substitutions, and your overall feeling on the game as we beat Huddersfield 2-1. Also, please give this video a like and subscribe as well. We're going to take a look at the table just before we finish this video, but this is a 20-second shot for you to hit that like button. See you in 2. I think as we speak then, Dan, Swansea are winning, but to be honest with you, it's not really a concern, to be honest with you, and I'm happy to place Swansea in the playoffs, although they do seem to be finding the winning way again. But AFC Bournemouth, after that victory, up into 5th, 71 points because of that goal difference. And like you said, going into the game at Carrow Road at the weekend, we now have a 5-point gap and the pressure's off a little bit.
Yeah, and I hope that doesn't mean that they're going to take the foot off the gas at all. I think that we've got to continue this form, and yeah, I don't think we're really concerned about teams above us now. Like automatics, I'm almost impossible. It's not even a consideration at this point. We've just got to focus on staying above Reading, really. And you said Reading would drop out. They have dropped out. I would say they're probably not going to get playoffs. So and yeah, as I've said many times, focus on ourselves and keep getting the results, and that's all we can do. Because if we keep performing, it's in our hands at the moment. So there's, it's for us to do. We're not relying on any other teams now, so there's no reason why we can't go and get promoted. But yeah, it's nice to have that gap, a little bit of breathing room, so knowing that if we do drop points, for example, against the tough games like against a Brentford or a Norwich, it might not drop us out of the top 6. So yeah, that's a nice relief, I think.
Final thoughts then, Dan. Some good goals scored. Dom got that start off his back, and some nervy moments in the end. We need to learn on that and try and help the situation a little bit better for us, so we're not going into these playoffs potentially with these moments at 2-1, etc. But overall, we got the 3 points, and yeah, I'm happy with the way we played in the first half again.
Yeah, we don't tend to make it easier at Bournemouth. They really don't tend to make it easy. The amount of anxiety I think we've all had as fans watching Bournemouth. But if we get over the line, it's you can say certain things about their performance, and I'm sure that there is things that we need to improve on. And we've got to be that situation should never have happened in this kind of game where we're by far the better team. That should have been 3-4-0 there, really. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at the result. The results are the most important thing. And if we keep getting the results, we're going to get promoted. So it's results at this point are the most important thing. Form's could have been better, but up the Cherries, we're going to get promoted. So it's fine.
And thanks for joining me over the Lineups Live and this review, Dan. And thank you to you, the viewers who have joined in for all the previews, the Lineups Live and this review as well. Please give this video a like. We have another match preview coming for you soon versus Norwich on Friday. You should check out for that. It was a day of fives, the 5th consecutive victory in the league. 5th in the league, 5-point gaps now between us and outside the playoffs, and a 5-star performance. Thank you for everyone who's joined us. Dom, you're my hero. We'll see you on the next video. Up the Cherries.